Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Lana Kay. Well, it's Halloween time again, a time when we start thinking about witches and goblins and dark things that go bump in the night. It's time for some exciting ghost stories. Are you ready? Then welcome my guest, author Karen Laven. Welcome to the program, Karen.
Thank you, Lana. I'm thrilled to be here. Very excited. This is my special time of year.
Yes, it is that scary time of year. Karen is the author of a wonderful book. If you like ghosts, you will like this book. It's entitled Cincinnati Ghosts. As you can see, there's a very spooky, transparent bride on the front with a little blood at her hemline, and we'll find out about her a little bit later. But first, I want to talk to Karen about first, let me give you my compliments. This is a well-written book. It's very descriptive, and it's complete with pictures of the haunted sites. So you did it all.
I appreciate that. We had a good time.
Yeah, I'll bet, and she did it very, very well.
Thank you.
Okay, so Karen, you've written several books. Okay?
Yes.
But now you're down to 3 ghost books.
Right. I'm finishing up the Ohio book. That's the whole state of Ohio. And then I don't know where the paranormal, genre will take me, or if I'll go out of that entirely. I've written all my life. So this has just kind of been since we moved to this area, this has been an amazing resurgence of our interest in the paranormal and meeting people around here and finding out the geography, the whole lay of the land, how people are around here. It's been wonderful. I love this area now, and I think it's because of doing these books.
Very good. Very good. Now, you have said you've always been intrigued with the unexplained. She gives us a little synopsis in the first part of her book about herself. But you have pretty much just said, I've accepted from a pretty early age that there probably could be a ghost, specter, apparition, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Well, too many things happened during my childhood. I was called one of those kids that, like my aunt said, you were Fae, F-E-Y or whatever. I just seemed to know things, and before they happened, or I just sensed things. And, even with religion and everything else, and this is what happens when people die and things like that, my family was open enough to understand that if I did hear things, see things, and I said this to them, they did not tell me I was crazy. Thank you, Mom and Dad. They believed me, but they didn't make a big deal out. It was like my dad believed, hey, it's possible. There's so much we don't understand. That's how I just sort of went about it. I didn't go nuts over it. I was like, okay, it's just something else I don't understand. I don't understand how they get to the moon either, but so to me it was kind of it is what it is. So, it's not that amazing in the sense as so new to me because it's just been in my life the whole time.
Okay, so in Fate magazine, Karen, following your father's death, they did a little article.
Yeah, I sent in what happened.
Was that one of your very first?
Yeah, and it was troubling in a couple areas, Lana, because of course it was my dad. I was very, very close with him, and it was the phone that was always by he would sit on the couch, the living room, the clicker thing all lined up, and that was the phone right there, and I don't know how long he was gone, a few months, whatever, and that phone would ring, and the other phones in the house would not ring. Or the phone would ring differently than the other, staccato, different types of rings. And it would be like, okay, my husband knew this. It wasn't just me going through this. My mother, my poor mother, I mean, she's just widowed and, just a staunch Catholic and whatever, but she knew something was going on there. So we finally picked it up, static, finally heard a voice say, I'll paraphrase, get the off the phone, leave me alone, and it was extremely loud. It was unbelievably loud in my ear, and I mean, you could hear it across the room. You could hear it across the room, and, you just literally throw it down and whatever. It was a female voice. So, I don't know where that all came from, and I don't know if it was connected with my dad maybe trying to come through because he was so open with things like that. But all I know is it freaked me out. For things in my life that freaked me out, that one really, really did. I took the phone, I put it in the closet. unplugged it, the whole 9 yards, and then literally, I don't know, like a month or two later, I heard that staccato ring. I was alone in the house. I couldn't believe it. My stomach dropped. I thought someone was playing a joke. Went to the closet. There it was, and it was ringing. Unplugged. This is not cell phone, people. You know, this is landlines that the old-fashioned. I'm old. That had to be, you know, had to be connected. And my husband, when he got home, I shut the door. My husband, when he got home, put it out in the garbage. And
Okay, now have you been convinced further after researching and writing these books on the paranormal? Has it even brought you closer to know there are things that we can't explain?
always. I mean, it's just like anything that you read up on, whether it's science, math, you know, I mean, anything that your interest takes you to, you delve deeper, you find out more information, more facts, more people's descriptions, more people's. What's amazing is people often talk about the same sort of instances at the same places that have never met each other before. So that is very interesting, and in my sense of the way of looking at it, scientific. You know, they have not, you know, it's not cross-contaminated, and that those are really exciting to hear from. So yeah, I definitely think, you know, I'm definitely learning.
Okay, now Karen, in the book you say it's much more likely than to see a full-blown apparition. It's rare to really see a full-blown apparition. It's more likely that you'll hear voices,
Yep.
sounds,
Yep.
footsteps,
Yep, all of those.
or smells.
Yes. And I believe most people, whether they believe it or not, or have recognized it or not, most people watching right now, Lana, have.
Have at
Probably,
some time?
yes, at some of those and perhaps all of them, and just explain them away. If you want to explain them away, that's okay. If that helps you explain them away, like I said, I don't understand how the radio works or how, you know, the TV functions. I just know it does. So it's okay to just say whatever, it's this, or and not go any deeper in it. For some people you do, some you don't. You know, I just know that it's there. And that I think the more open you are to it, the more likely you are to see the further, you know, sort of things maybe up to the full body apparitions.
Okay, there are several types of hauntings. I never thought about this, but you say the first is an imprint or residual.
Right.
And so what's the difference in that?
This is like a tape playing. It's like, imagine watching an old rerun of I Love Lucy, you know, over and over. And it plays the same thing, you know, over and over. And it's the same thing one after another. It plays at, 7 o'clock on Saturday night, you know, each Saturday night. If something happens often it can be mundane. It can be like, okay, this woman every night washed the kids before bed or whatever, and then drug the water in from outside and tromped through, and this was you know, constant imprinted, and in fact it just happens so many times that the people that maybe move onto that land and whatever are like, why am I hearing sounds of water being poured into a, you know, a basin or something, maybe a sound of a kid, you know, saying, oh, or whatever, maybe playing in the tub. Just the energy that the energy that occurred. Oh, yes.
It's a repetition.
Repeated over and over. And, or it could be a one-time thing, traumatic, suicide, you know, murder, something severely traumatic that happened at that spot. And then what can happen is that anniversary of that time, then it can continue to
come back.
Yes.
Okay, now an intelligent haunting.
Those are when they actually, the paranormal entities are able to respond to you.
Okay.
So in other words, like when I went on the ghost hunt with Pink, Paranormal Investigators of Northern Kentucky, to the Middletown house, you ask questions, you know, they do that, oh, are you there? Do you respect us? We're here, we're not trying to, you know, whatever. And an intelligent haunting is when you get a response.
Okay.
So if you say something like, you know, is it okay that we're here, or what is your name? And then when you go back and you go through the information and you hear yes or no, you know, in response that no one else said, this was, you know, an EVP, then that is an intelligent haunting. That is some sort of intelligent being responding to you.
Okay, demonic entities that you say they're rare, but who can forget The Exorcist? In the early 70s, that was the scariest, and I know that's been a long time ago now, but in its day, that was very high tech.